the power launch is on the way to you guys.
Pancake Bill, at the Brown, starboard side ladder, draft is 3110.
Okay, very good. The Zopper outbound to Brown Shoal, bound out to the east and up to Canada. No inbound traffic.
The presence of those Dutch settlers in 1631 ultimately became the basis for the existence of Delaware as a colony and a state. The Europeans were coming here and planning to stay. The fact that there was a close working relationship between the Native American residents of the Lewes area and the early Dutch settlers is undeniable, and it existed on several levels. The Dutch interest in this particular area was largely that of trading. With the expansion of settlement out from the coastal areas, Lewes was important as an export and import channel for the goods of this expanding settlement. So from the very beginning, the native population assisted the Dutch by serving as pilots, if you will, for Dutch vessels to provide safe passage. The town changed in size. It grew and took on the trappings of a full-fledged community. Churches were established, streets were named, burial grounds were laid out, customs officers were appointed. Lewes became a town. As a result of its geographic location and its growing importance, Lewes was very much on the minds of our founding fathers on the eve of the American Revolution. At the end of the American Revolution, with the issue of independence resolved, our nation's maritime commerce was free to grow, and grow it did. Lewes became a central access point for vessels trading to and from Philadelphia. It became a port of call for the coastal maritime trade. And with the coming of the War of 1812, the citizens of Lewes became very concerned about their vulnerability. There was a company of pilots that formed to defend the town, commanded by Captain William Marshall. Several prominent pilots, such as Gilbert and Henry McCracken, were members of that company. They actually manned a battery that was physically located on the canal and played a significant role in the defense of Lewes in 1813 during the blockade and bombardment in April of that year. As a result of the British blockade of the Delaware River and Bay, citizens of Lewes were obviously concerned about their personal safety. In the spring of 1813, the British commander requested the resupply of the ships by the citizens. That request was refused. As a result, the British naval forces bombarded Lewes for approximately 27 hours, but very little damage was done. After the War of 1812, one of the most significant single projects initiated in the 1820s was the construction of the Delaware Breakwater, which was one of the largest man-made harbors in the Western Hemisphere, providing cover and shelter for ships trading at different ports. In March of 1888, a blizzardy great white hurricane struck the East Coast. The impact on Lewes was significant. Many ships had taken shelter behind the seawall of the breakwater. They were tossed about, driven upon the breakwater. Some were swept out to sea. It was a matter of life and death for many of these mariners. The Cape and Lopen and Lewes Life-Saving Station personnel and the citizens of Lewes played a significant role in rescuing stranded mariners, saving many lives that would have otherwise been lost. Approximately 1 year after the blizzard of 1888, another major weather event resulted in the loss of 10 lives, crew members of the pilot boat Enoch Turley. A desire arose amongst the piloting profession to bring a greater structure to the trade of piloting. And in 1896, the Pilots Association of the Bay and River Delaware was officially established. John Penrose Burton, a Lewes pilot, was elected as the first president of the association. As the 19th century gave way to the 20th, world events would impact the lives of Lewes and its citizens. On the eve of the Second World War, there was increasing interest in protecting the ports of the Delaware River and Bay. With the declaration of war on December 7, 1941, efforts to establish a permanent coastal defense facility commenced in full. The establishment of Fort Miles at Cape Henlopen resulted in the creation of one of our nation's largest coastal defense fortifications. With a significant portion of our nation's fuel supplies being produced by Delaware River refineries, the need for greater military control of access to the Delaware River and Bay became apparent, and the Pilots Association was federalized and made a part of the United States Coast Guard. With the end of World War II, the Menhaden fishing industry of Lewes expanded, and by 1953, the Port of Lewes was recognized as the busiest port in the nation. Within 1 decade of the port's peak production, Lewes Menhaden industry ended suddenly when overfishing resulted in the closing of Lewes plants. For the residents of Lewes, this was the end of an era. Challenged with promoting the economy of the community following the closure of Lewes Fishing Industries, an increasing focus was placed upon the rich history and heritage of Lewes, resulting in an economic boom in the late 20th and early 21st century. Today, the pilots of Lewes continue to guide thousands of ships to and from the ports of the River Delaware, and play a critical role in our nation's maritime commerce. Lewes has so much to offer. I mean, it's unique. It's people, it's restaurants, it's location, it's the atmosphere in the community. I mean, the community is vibrant. It's old, but it lives.